For each one of these valves, I charge around $1,500 each to install. Does the price vary? Yes. If they have 12 valves, I'm probably going to charge around $1,200 a valve. If they have 3 valves, I might charge $1,500. If they have 1 valve, I might even charge $2,000 for 1 valve. I posted this on my Instagram and people were losing their minds. Here's some of their comments. They said, Manda Builder said, that's excessive. If you're charging $1,500 for just a valve, whoever pays that much is definitely getting ripped off. Now, if you're charging $1,500 for the smart Wi-Fi controller, it's a different story. Here's the deal, bub. Am I charging $1,500 just to install this little $30 part? No, of course not. It's with every single thing, including installation of this, a filter and a pressure regulator, all the pipe, running the water line straight to this, and then connecting all of this. Look at this wire. All of this is connected in there. Plus, you have to run this polymeric tube all the way to each single plant. See this? This is not easy to do. You see this perfect ring? This was made by Leonardo da Vinci. This is perfect.
I'm perfect.
Yo, before we move on, I want to tell you, May 20th is my 33rd birthday. So because you guys give to me all the time, I want to give back to you. Every single thing I've ever sold on the internet right now is 33% off. Crazy deal. All you have to do is use discount code HBD33. And it'd be nice if you wish me a happy birthday down below in the comments. Let's get back to the video. Plus, look at all the little components and parts. This, staples, and the one thing most of you are forgetting is labor. If you get a good guy that does irrigation, he's going to be 25, 30 bucks an hour. Maybe depending where you live, maybe 22, 23, but you're not going to get someone $12 an hour doing this. You're going to get someone $12 an hour messing everything up. And I don't want problems. That's why I charge so much, because the system works. And if any time there's a problem with the system, we warranty our stuff, unlike the people charging $300 for a valve. When we come back and we make sure it's right, we make sure the customer's happy. Now, let's go back into the basics and explain to you exactly how everything works. I was a 25-year-old kid and I got my very first job doing a watering system. The guy that was helping me, his name was Carlos. He's an OG. Sadly, he's no longer with me, and that wasn't my decision. That was his decision, which is what it is. But this valve right here, we installed a bunch of grass and we had to do these valves. Now, me personally, I had no idea how to do anything. Today, I still don't know how to do these.
You're a fucking idiot.
I understand the theory behind them. If you gave me all the components, I could put this together and the watering system would run. Would it run the same as if Jose did it? No. I would have leaks. I'd have pressure problems, but it would still run.
Hell yeah!
This right here got me so confused. I was scared, frustrated, worried, because I was afraid we're going to install this and it was going to mess up. Luckily for me, Carlos knew exactly how to do everything. This is how this whole system works. Check this out. Water comes in through here, right? And then it gets stuck here. This solenoid, this is the little gate valve. It opens, not manually, but it opens inside. It opens and then it lets water through here, and then the water shoots out here. And then it goes into these little tubes and it waters all your plants. Now, there's different zones. Obviously, you see there's 6 valves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd be like, T, why do you have 6 valves? Here's the deal. I learned this a long time ago. If you do not separate your valves per zone, it's going to be a disaster. Trees need to have their own separate valve because trees require more water. Look how big they are. The same amount of water for the big plants cannot be the same amount of water for the little plants. So that's why we separate all these valves. If you have big trees, they get their own valve. If you have little tiny plants, they get their own valve. For example, a fruit tree has to go on its own valve. You might be like, well, T, why? Fruit require more water. This is a fruit tree, apple tree, right? Over here, we have a orange tree or a lemon tree, whatever this is. This is a 48-inch lemon tree. And then over here is another apple tree. If you look, see this? This is for the apple tree. It goes in here and it goes to this tree. So fruit are on its own valve. And then look at this. You wouldn't believe it, but here's another one. This is an orange tree on its own valve connected to all the other fruit trees. There's another fruit tree right there. That's a big orange tree, 48-inch orange tree. That's on the same valve. So when we set up the controller, fruit on its own valve, big 24-inch trees on its own valve, little plants on its own valve, 5-gallon plants, they have their own valve. 1-gallon plants have their own valve. Everything's very separate and organized. Now, in the beginning, no one told me this. And I know a lot of you watching might be like, well, T, it's common knowledge. You should have known that. I didn't know this. And the biggest trouble I ever had was connecting these wires to the timer. I was always lost. I actually paid $100. He worked at the irrigation store. He came to my job site and he hooked up the wires to this to the clock, set up the clock, made sure the homeowner was happy, and then he left. And after I saw him do that, I said, oh wow, it's not that hard. It's actually pretty easy. But this was in 2015. For those of you that are afraid to charge because you think that the customer is not going to hire you, well, you're right. The customer is not going to hire you. Here's the reason why. Because you're afraid. This right here is for the timer. This is a Wi-Fi timer. It's a ratio. They're like $300, maybe $200, but they come with an outdoor kit and it's super nice. It's a pain in the ass to set up, but once you set it up, you literally give all power to the homeowner. Everything is done on his phone. You can monitor everything from his phone because you're the installer, you're the master account, and it's easy. Now, here's the way irrigation works. A lot of you think I don't know things, but I do. I actually know everything there is to know about landscaping.
Now, me personally, I had no idea how to do anything. Today, I still don't know how to do these.
The very first thing you need to do is install the main line to your valves. This cannot come from the home. If you tap it into a line from the home, this house was built in the 1960s, so they had a line that was coming to here from the main. So the water goes from the street to the house. Either it has a little elbow and it goes outside to the irrigation, or it keeps going into the house. Some houses, they hook it up to here. So the water runs all in the house and then it comes out for the irrigation. Now every single time those valves go on, there's gonna be a big loud clank. And the water pressure from the home is gonna be lost. And even worse, if you have a softener, a water softener that you put salt in to make sure the water's all nice and soft and not hard, you're gonna be using soft water for your plants. I've seen this so many times that homeowners have done. It's crazy. So this one right here comes straight from the main line. It goes down into here, runs over here. The boys ran it straight here. Now that we have our main line, we have a lot of pressure. You're gonna need to divide up everything into zones. So this backyard is pretty large. So we divided up into 6 zones because we looked at the plan, looked at the plants and said, what do we have? One for trees, one for fruit trees, and everything else divided up into 4. Little plants, medium plants, large plants. Next, you're gonna need one of these. This is a pressure reducer. This pressure reducer has a filter on it. All you gotta do is take it out, and the filter prevents a bunch of gunk. And look at that. We actually do have some gunk inside the filter already. There's gunk in there. So the filter did its job. Now, the city water isn't the cleanest. The reason you want to install those filters is to prevent all of that gunk to go into here. Because if it goes into here and it clogs this little guy, you got to come in and replace this. Or even worse, you won't notice that it's not squirting water out because there's mulch on it and the tree won't get enough water. And we live in California. Everything's liberal here. We need to hug the trees and make sure they survive, because if they don't, now, over here. After you install the filter, you need to run each line to the designated areas. Now, typically we run each line with a hard pipe, hard white PVC, 3/4. All these valves are 3/4. There's 1/2 inch, there's 3/4, there's inch, there's 1.5 inch. 3/4 is fine for what we use. This is not a commercial zone. And we run all of these lines to the designated area. Watch this, come here. Fuck. Oh no. Oh no. This is a direct burial all the way from there. Another example, come over here. This one is running all the way from over there, all for these plants. So this zone is going to be for front yard. So whenever the deck gets done, we're going to install these guys, and it's going to have direct water all the way from over there. Here's another example, that white one. All of these little tubes right here, this is what's used to carry the water. So you're going to carry the water from the valve to the hard pipe, going to have a connector up, and then you're going to connect that connector to this, and then this is going to be 1/2 inch line. How you water the plant, you're going to use this. This is called spaghetti line. You're going to have these little connectors that you pop in. This is 1/2 inch, this is spaghetti. These are the little connectors. We use staples to put them down, and each plant gets its own little watering system. Water comes out here, you put it right by the root ball, you take the staple, you do that. Don't put it too hard, but you want to do that just to make sure that this little spaghetti tube doesn't move and the water doesn't go to the plant. No water to the plant equals dead plant, and that's not a good offer. Here's a more in-depth dive into the connectors. This is 2 gallons per hour. If you run your irrigation system for 1 hour, you'll be watering 2 gallons per hour. These connectors connect the 1/2 inch poly, which is a T. This one also does the same thing for the 1/2 inch poly. These are little NP scabbers. When you want to close off the line, you do this. This is a T for the spaghetti. This is spaghetti line. This is a screw, which should not be here. This is an elbow, because it's an elbow. I don't have to explain what elbows are. This is a T for 3/4. This is something else. This is 1/2 inch poly. This is spaghetti. All in all, pretty good. Pretty easy to understand. So now that you have your master class in irrigation repair, now you can really take on your next level job. To be honest with you, the irrigation is very simple once you have all the parts. Now, as you saw, that $50 valve is not really the big component. What's expensive is all this little shit. Each of these little things is like 10 cents, 20 cents. But I bet you this has gone up significantly since 2015 when I started. And it's your job to figure out how much you're spending per valve. Now, this spaghetti tube is not cheap. Even though you get 500 linear feet of spaghetti line or 1,000 linear feet, it's still not cheap. These half-inch lines, they come in rolls. They're about 100-foot rolls. Those are not cheap either. All these little things add up. Staples are not cheap. I know that for a fact. And these little connectors are like 10, 15 cents a piece. All of that adds up quite fast. That's why you have to charge somewhere between $1,000 to $1,500 per valve, depending on your area. If you live in Missouri and these parts are really, really, really cheap, then you can do that. But you have to call your Missouri place, get all the prices, and then call an irrigation shop in San Jose, California and compare. Before you start leaving comments and saying blah, 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 compare prices, because the prices are very, very different, super different. And you might not have these lights. So this fixture right here is $250. Some dude from Instagram sent me a link to lights direct order from China, and they're $20. I'm like, dude, the architect spec'd these lights. I can't install Chinese lights, which look fine, but I can't install Chinese lights versus these lights because the architect spec'd these lights. And he's like, yeah, but you're scamming the homeowner. I'm like, the difference in understanding of what is a scam to you and what is a scam to me is crazy. I would rather pay for these lights than those Chinese lights because these lights are sick. They're made in America, the USA. Now, a lot of you have questions all the time. People join GoKing and they say, T, how do I learn how to do pavers? Do you teach people how to do pavers? Do you teach people how to do irrigation? Here's the thing about that. This is going to resonate with some of you, and this is going to be like a total foreign language to some of you as well. It'd be easier for you to go find someone that knows how to do pavers, irrigation, electrical, lights, than it would be for you to learn it. Because in order for you to master something, we all know this quote, you need 10,000 hours in that specific area and topic for you to become a master at it. Now, if you invest 10,000 hours into learning how to do pavers, number one, you're going to be old. Number two, you cannot run your business. And number three, that's just a bad use of time. Spend time on finding the right people and getting them, acquire people, then learning a skill. The skill to find people in your business, it has a much higher ROI, much higher return on investment than it does for you to go out and learn a skill. That's why I don't do that. And some of you clown on me like, T, you don't know how to do pavers, you don't do this, you don't do it. That's not the point. I know how to run a business. You guys don't know how to run a business. The skill to run a business is much harder than it is to know how to do pavers. Because once you understand how to do pavers, it is what it is. You just slap them down, and put some sand in there, throw some sand in there, throw some water, boom. Pavers are magically done. It's a great surface for you to walk on. They'll never fail because you're a G. Done. Now, business is completely different. You must learn how to run the whole organization. Sales, marketing, emails, answering phone calls, customer service. You have to know finances. I mean, the list is endless. There's so many more things to do. But to throw you guys a bone, I will be doing a paver course from start to finish on how to do everything on the paver course so you understand the idea, so you understand how to do it, and you'll become a professional at it. And this course will be included in GoKing. It's free when you're in there. GoKing's $97 a month. There's almost 1,000 people in there. Yeah, do the math. Oh, that's not the point. The point is for you to go in there and learn everything you need to know how to run a business. You're going to be surrounded by a bunch of experts, and we will drag your sorry ass across the finish line and make sure that you succeed. All you need to do is have a good attitude, open mind, and a commitment to you, yourself, irrigation, pavers, concrete, plants, everything. Oh, and by the way, June 3rd, I'm giving away these trailers. Beep, beep, beep. That's right. I'm literally giving them away. $60,000 in trailers. June 3rd, I'm giving these trailers away. All you got to do is be in GoKing, show up to San Jose, California, and you, my friend, can be a winner of these trailers. Plus, on top of that, the day before the event, I'll be doing my entire company open books, open doors, whatever you want to call it, sharing with you everything I know. You're going to be coming in. We're going to be doing job tours. You get to ask me questions about the job. You get to meet the customer. You get to meet office people. We're going to show you how to do bids. We're going to show you everything that you want to know how I run a business. We're going to show you. It's going to be open book. You're going to learn all the ins and outs, behind the scenes, all that stuff. And after, on Saturday, there's going to be an employee picnic where you can come and ask my guys any question you want. You get to find out if I'm actually a good guy or a bad guy. That will be left for determination on Saturday. I'll see you June 3rd.